What's going on, guys? Coach Luca here with
Coach Kelsey.
and we're gonna do a whole segment on squatting, right? Barbell. So we're gonna start with barbell squats and not just cover how to barbell squat safely, effectively, and so you get the most out of it, meaning building strength, building muscle in your lower body. Obviously, it's a full body movement, and we're gonna show a lot of that. But what we're also gonna do is cover what are alternatives, because many times people that should not be doing a barbell back squat are doing it and then having, I would say, not just like nagging injuries and issues, they can't get the most out of it, their low back is hurting, their knees are aching. We don't want any of that. So we're gonna show you guys some alternatives with a safety squat bar also, and with double kettlebells. So essentially, which squat should you be doing right now to get the most out of it, okay? But we're gonna start with the barbell back squat. And before we even go under the bar, and when I say we, I mean Kelsey.
Lucky me.
I want to start with like just showing you guys the thought process a little bit around, right? If you look at me from the side, you want to make sure, should I say, right here, that my pelvis right here is under my ribs. Many times when people set up in a squat, they'll be very extended, right? So will be their setup. And now their low back is already, so their glutes aren't working, their rib cage is flaring, their abs aren't on, and they're having a bad position. And this is one of those things, like if you start in a bad position, you're not gonna do a good rep, period. You have to have a good position before you start. It's critical. So that's why even as I'm coaching Kelsey on this barbell squat, like we're really gonna talk about position. And that's the position that you wanna have, is ribs under your pelvis, right? Here, you can see my rib cage is down and not flared up, right? We wanna have a neutral chin and not a flaring head, right? All those things will create issues, and like I said, it'll bang up your low back, your hips, or your knees. So I'm actually gonna do a quick setup right here just to show you guys before I have Kelsey come underneath and we're gonna coach that. So when you come under the bar, you want to already, before you even lift off, have this good position. So my ribs are under, right? My rib cage, I'm nice and tall, chin is packed. My traps are the shelf for this bar. I'm gonna take a big breath of air into my belly, brace for the punch, upper back is tight, chest is tight, boom. Now I'm solid. I'm gonna take 1, 2, 3, and set up in my position, okay? And you can see, like I said, that my rib cage, my pelvis are under each other. Now, if I was in a position that we talked about that I don't want, is this. You can see how, right, either the elbows are flaring, my head's forward, my butt's out. These are not good positions, okay? So that is critical, that when I get under the bar, I have a shelf, right? So I'm pulling the elbows down, creating like lat tension. Even in the front, this is important, most people don't talk about, keeping tension in your pecs and your shoulders. We wanna have as much tension as possible. Now, if you do not have good shoulder, like I said, our upper back, so thoracic and shoulder mobility, you might have a tough time getting under the bar, okay? Which we'll talk about, then this is not your best solution right now, okay? Because if you can't get under the bar in a good position, keep ribs down, keep this form, and you're here, this is not the best exercise for you for squatting. We'll show you different ones. Okay, but Kelsey's gonna set up underneath and we're gonna take her through it and also coach her on about 2 to 3 reps on this first set. You can see she's getting on the traps, that's her shelf, upper back is tight. She's gonna step up 1, 2, 3. And now we're gonna talk about turn the toes out a little bit. There we go. And you're gonna think about pulling yourself down. Imagine I'm resisting you, so you're gonna pull yourself down into that squat. Pull down, now you're gonna push the ground away. Good, so this is a good cue because she can kind of drive down into it. And push. Now on this third rep, what I'm gonna have her do, have her knees touch my hands. So knees are gonna be soft, push forward, she's feeling her whole foot, and push. And rack it back up. Right, so some of the things, apart from the setup, right, she had her ribs down, she had her neck packed, she had her upper back nice and tight, her front, like shoulders and chest were on, right? But then we talked about pulling yourself down into this position. Instead of just dropping down, you're gonna pull yourself down with strength, okay? And then from there, push the ground away. Other thing was having soft knees, so not locking them out, but soft knees at the top, letting the knees fall forward as she's dropping down. Okay, it's not a dangerous thing for the knees. It's actually a quality, healthy squat because we can stay as vertical as possible. If your butt goes back here and you try to go low, you can see how my pelvis dumps, where we call it the tuck, and then that might bang up your low back, okay? So we don't want those, so we want to make sure the knees fall forward and she's pulling herself down. And there's a great drill that we did the other day. We're going to go over again. I'm going to show you guys. So Kelsey's going to lay down on the ground, on her back.
This way?
Yes. So what we're going to do, she's going to extend. I'm going to check the mic a little bit real quick. These are media problems. So imagine she's going to start with essentially a squat position here, right? So right now she's basically laying down and she's in a squat position. Toes up. I'm going to start pulling and let her know, like, hey, resist, but create some give, okay? And now we're going to come back up. So she's going to drive her knees in, use those hip flexors. Go, 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 go. Now at the top, I want you to hold for 3, 2, 1, and one more rep. So this is like coming out of a squat. All right, pulling down into a squat. Go. Rip, 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 rip. 3, 2, 1, and break.
That's way harder than it was.
Yeah, it's hard to lose. So what it's doing, because she's safely on the floor, her abs are working really hard, and her hip flexors are working really, 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 really hard to pull in. Now that same thinking, that thought process, we're going to go on a squat, right? Pull herself down into that position, push up. And it's a much, like I said, most people when they do that, they're like, wow, I feel way stronger. I feel way more stable. That's the key, is I feel way more stable. So let's go over a couple of the coaching cues on this barbell back squat before we move into the safety bar squat, which is a great option if you don't have good upper back and shoulder mobility. So number one, we want to have a great setup, keep our pelvis under our rib cage, our ribs down, okay? Chest will be tall, but we're not gonna arch our low back. We're gonna flex the lats, the chest, keep the chin packed, step back, then we're gonna have soft knees, push our knees forward and pull ourselves straight down like an elevator, right? Down into a squat, but as low as possible. Okay, so that would be our barbell back squat with some checklists, right? So imagine a checklist like, hey, I got this, I got this, I got this, boom, now I can do my rep. Okay, now, to go back to, I'd say, a squat, if you have a tough time, which a lot of people do, getting those elbows under, getting that chest nice and tall because you have restricted mobility in the upper back and shoulders, I love the safety squat bar variation. So the safety squat bar variation, and we're gonna have Kelsey just do it with no weight, but she's gonna come underneath, same thing. So everything is equal when it comes to the setup, except that now she's gonna have her hands on this, on the top of the bar. Like I said, if the handles are longer, I prefer it to be up here. What's great about this, that she can row, right? So she's rowing her elbows back, getting her upper back tight. So toes are gonna go out a little bit. Everything in the bottom, same thing. Pelvis under her rib cage, everything's solid. Knees are gonna fall forward. She's gonna go pull herself down as low as possible and then push back up. Nice. Let's just do 2 more reps. Knees forward, staying upright, and push. Last one. Just keeping her rib cage down nicely, and push, and rack it back up. So you can see what happens there is that, like, we don't have to worry about this position because our hands are in front of us. We can roll them back, still create all that tension. Now, this leads me to elevating your heels. Okay, now most, or should I say many people have a tight ankle, right? So they can't get their knee past their toes, so have limited what's called ankle dorsiflexion here. And so if you have that, and even if you don't, it's a viable option. It's smart to elevate your heels a little bit. So what we're gonna do with Kelsey on this rep is I'm gonna put this wedge, and you got a lot of different wedges. This one's for Brett Contreras. You got prime ones that are great, and you can do different elevations, right? So this one's not crazy elevated, but what it does is gonna allow her to stay more upright, get lower into that squat without banging up her back, without restrictions in the ankles. And Kelsey has good, I would say, good ankle mobility, but this will still help her out get a little bit more upright. Okay, so I'm gonna just put this back. She's gonna walk back and go right on it, get her heels as high up on that as possible. She's still gonna get her toes out. So same form, it's just that now you can see how she's elevated. She's getting a little more wiggle room to go lower. So you can stay as upright as possible. Knees are gonna fall forward, and think butt all the way down to the calves. Upright, 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 upright. You can see how her back is nice and neutral and flat. She's all the way down, driving back out of that. That's great. Knees forward, upright, her abs are nice and she's pulling herself down. Great job. One more. And drive. Nice. And break. So if you saw the difference between, I would say, the first set, which was a really good set, but she got probably an extra 2 inches of depth without, did you feel any back on that? Did you feel?
No, it was great. It felt great.
So it's the range of motion now all of a sudden. So she's getting, guess what? More range of motion in her quads, glutes, everything. So she's gonna build more muscle, less stress on the joints. So this is a very, very good, viable option when you're doing any, like we could have done this with the barbell back squat, same thing, we can do it here. And the last one that we'll show you guys is the double kettlebells, right? Because the double kettlebell, for most people, it's a great option, goblet position, double KB position for the front squats, because you really kind of, safety squat bar is great, KBs are great, to where if you don't have good shoulder, thoracic mobility, you can get strong, I would say, with different implements, okay? Dumbbells as well, dumbbell goblet squats, hanging dumbbells, dumbbells in this position, sandbags, right? Imagine changing up the tools. My goal was to start here with good form, but if this is not the best option for you, you can work on all those things and come back and still do the barbell back squat.
Right. And it's like, it's not right or wrong, it's just about
Correct.
What is best for you and what feels best for you.
Absolutely, because if your goal is, I want to get stronger in my legs, I want to build my glutes, my quads, my lower body, I want to get leaner, all of the options we're showing you work, and you can get stronger in every one of those, and you can get to a place where you do this, or maybe you don't even have to, right? It may not even need, if you're not a power lifter, you don't have to do it, but if you, like I said, get better stability of the core, upper back mobility and shoulder mobility, you can go and do this as well. So with the last one, we're gonna go same thing. Kelsey's gonna grab these two 26s, and here's what I like about the kettlebells, right? And actually, let me clean them real quick, show you guys from the side. So with the kettlebells, that whole rib cage down position, I can push my shoulder blades forward a little bit, and you guys can see this. I'm standing tall, I push them forward a little bit, and now my abs are on like hardcore. It's almost like I'm in a standing plank right now, right? So it's harder to extend if you push the shoulder blades forward, and now I'm going down into that squat position. I'm very upright, my abs are working hard, and it kind of almost cleans up my form, okay? So what we're gonna do is have Kelsey clean these and also use the wedge. Remember, you can also have 2 plates, right? You could be standing on 2 10-pound plates, 5-pound plates, and have you stand back on that one. There we go. And just watch, like, bring them up a little bit here, right there. Feel that in the forearms a little bit. Abs on, push the knees forward, try to go as low as you can, right? All the way down to the heels. Pause this next one. It's a great rep. I just want them to see it because it's so good. Pause at the bottom for like a second or two. Watch her depth. I mean, she is literally all the way at the bottom, neutral spine, drive back up. Like now, is now a good time? Yes, it is. All right, one more rep. And break. Nice job. A quick question for you, Kelsey. Out of those 3, okay, which one feels the best? I have no, I would say.
Yeah. Well, this is nice because I feel like I'm getting a little bit of my upper body engaged too. So I like that one, but I also like the safety bar.
Safety bar, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the safety bar, and like I said, no promos here. This is just our favorite brand, is the Kabuki. This is the Kabuki Transformer bar, just because it wedges really nice around the shoulders. But once again, right, like for Kelsey, the barbell back squat, felt it looked good, but like these 2 feel better. And if we were gonna load it pretty heavy, I'd probably say, hey, let's go with this one. If we were gonna do assistance work, supplement, we might work, if we wanted to work the upper back posture, we'd probably go with the kettlebells. But you can see like that little shift of the wedge is, I mean, she's getting 1 inch to 2 more at the bottom with great form. She's gonna build more muscle, she's gonna have better stability. And what's great about it, we can still work on her ankle and hip mobility and improve it, and still get under the bar without this. But why not make it easier, or would I say, this will actually be harder as far as muscle tension goes, but like it'll be easier on the joints. It'll be safer and healthier on the joints. So use these tools to make your squats safer, healthier, and get more out of them when it comes to building strength and muscle, right? And like I said, use these different choices. We didn't even show every one of them.
Right.
Sandbags are great, dumbbells are great.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're at home and you got dumbbells, you can do the same form that we talked about goes, okay? If you don't have a bar on your back, everything else stays the same, right? We still want those positions. So try those out. Let us know how you feel. You know, if you felt an improvement in your squat. If you have any questions too, drop them down below. We'll be doing more coaching tip videos, and we'll see you in the next one.